Plato spoke of an advanced civilization beyond the Straits of Gibraltar that ruled the Atlantic and parts of Africa and Europe. A paradise. No one had to work hard, every type of wonderful food grew there, and animals were plentiful. The kings were rich in gold and silver, and people lived in a golden age of harmony and abundance. So what happened? Today, Wolf takes a bite out of Atlantis.
I climbed into the hills.
I'm romantic. I would like Bigfoot to exist.
One type is about 3 feet tall, very dark, not humanoid at all. The lizard-looking.
The creatures that I've seen mostly have been the greys.
To the search for truth. Little grey men from outer space who actually abduct humans.
Action! Welcome back to another episode of Wolf Takes a Bite. I'm John Wolf, and I'm sitting here with Devin Gray.
Meow.
I was gonna try to do something funny with your name, but I really can't. It's just I've run out of material.
Oh, that's just a lie.
Yeah, I know, that's material. Moving on. Let's dip our toes. Today we're talking about Atlantis. The lost city of Atlantis. Milo Thatch, Devin.
Milo Thatch.
Milo? What you doing out here, Milo?
Milo Thatch.
Milo? What you doing out here, Milo?
I love that movie.
Oh, man. The first one's the best one. Second one's okay. Animation style changed, and I hated it.
I haven't even seen the second one.
Breh? 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 Say what? Breh? Hey, that could be a soundbite for Thoughts from the Mothership. Breh? Breh? What? Breh? Breh?
If you keep doing it, it's just gonna get better.
Breh? Breh?
What we got about Atlantis, John?
Well, as we spoke in the beginning of this, Plato theorized about Atlantis. Now, where he got his information, we're not exactly sure, but let me tell you, we will dive deep into it.
Fucking hate it.
Get ready for the ocean puns, people!
Because they run deep in this episode.
Mariana's Trench deep.
And I served you, and you knocked it out.
Oh, yeah.
And the crowd goes wild.
Well, I think that's enough fucking about. As I make a lot of noise with my keys. So, you know.
And slap your iPad.
Quiet on the set.
Fuck.
Okay.
It's happening. We're in it.
All right. So, even though we're going to be talking about Atlantis, we're going to have to start out on land, Devin.
Whoa.
So, according to the Egyptians, once upon a time, no, this isn't the start of a Disney movie. Milo Thatch. There was a mighty power base on an island in the Atlantic Ocean. This empire was called Atlantis, and it ruled over several other islands and parts of the continents of Africa and Europe.
This is Atlantis did that.
Atlantis did that.
Whoa.
As being, they are a super advanced, highly intelligent, super sophisticated, technologically advanced race of aliens.
Felt like I was at a Beach Boys concert. I don't know why I would know that reference. I just do.
You mean an Atlantis concert?
Well,
because they had beaches too.
Yeah, they had Beach Boys also. Just different.
Just different. Anyway. Yeah, I'm different.
That's not the Beach Boys.
That's copywritten. Can't use that. Atlantis was arranged in concentric rings of alternating water and land. The soil was rich, and the engineers technically accomplished the architecture with extravagant baths, harbor installations, barracks. The central plan outside.
I just thought if I turned you down, it might be better, but I was trying to figure out which one was yours.
You found it.
I did. I found me first, so if it's any.
So we're doing this now.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Now Devin's like, well, I've given up on the show, so
No, I'm sorry. I didn't.
let me just fuck about.
I was trying to be helpful, but also fuck with you. Yeah, a little bit. Go on. Architecture. Whoa, he's getting serious. Someone should do a painting of you like that. Get on it.
They do. It's my mugshot.
Get on it.
According to the Egyptians, no, son of a bitch. Second paragraph. Atlantis was arranged in concentric rings of alternating water and land. The soil was extremely rich. The engineers technically accomplished the architecture with extravagant baths, harbor installations, and barracks. The central plain outside of the city had canals and a magnificent irrigation system. Atlantis had kings and civil administration, as well as an organized military, and their rituals matched Athenians for bull baiting, sacrifice, and prayer. I was going to say bull bathing when I was like, why would you bathe a bull?
Why would you bathe with bulls? It's just not a good idea either way.
If you put a bull in a hot tub, does it become Red Bull?
How hot is the
Who's
hot tub?
vaping? Jessica! So, seriously, folks, seriously.
No, seriously.
The only primary sources for Atlanteans are in Plato's work. The dialogues claim to quote Solon, who visited Egypt between 590 and 580 BC.
This is a while back ago.
Obviously. They state that he translated Egyptian records of Atlantis, written in 360 BC. Plato also introduced Atlantis, and the translation reads, "For it is related to our records how once upon a time your state stayed the course of mighty hosts, which, starting from a distant point in the Atlantic Ocean, was insolently advancing to attack the whole of Europe and Asia to boot." I don't see Plato saying to boot.
Yeah, I don't think that's probably not a direct quote.
Or poor translation. Fucking Canadians.
Canadians?
For the ocean, it's what it's all about, Devin. For the
I'm
ocean.
so sorry for our brethren above us.
And Asia to boot. For the ocean, there was at that time navigable, for in front of the mouth, which you Greeks call, as you say, the Pillars of Hercules. We call this the Straits of Gibraltar. There lay an island which was larger than Libya and Asia together, and it was possible for the travelers of that time to cross from it to the other islands, and from the islands to the whole of the continent over against them, which encompasses that veritable ocean. For all that we have here, lying with the mouth of which we speak, fuck you, Plato. This is trash.
Yeah, he's long-winded, bro. He's
Is evidently a heaven having a narrow entrance, but for that yonder is a real ocean, and that land surrounding it may be most rightly so be called. Fuck. in the fullest and truest sense, a continent. Now, in this island of Atlantis, there existed the Confederation of Kings, of great and marvelous power, which held sway over all islands, and over many other islands also, and parts of the continent. End quote.
When Plato says something, he fucking says it, dog.
Bro, get to the point. What the?
Well, I mean, he was like a philosopher, writer kind of guy, you know.
Well, he philosophized about what should have been said in 5 words.
He had a
That there was Atlantis.
he had to get that minimum word count on his essay.
Bruh.
I think he nailed it.
On that scroll essay. His scroll report.
Yeah, exactly.
A common argument used to dismiss the tale of Atlanteans is to poke holes in Plato's source. Plato got the story from Sloane, who got it from Egypt. So why didn't the Egyptians tell us anything about Atlantis in their hieroglyphs?
I think it's Atlanteans.
I'm reading as written.
Is it? I don't know how to spell.
That's evidently clear. But it's okay, neither do I. So one thing to remember when studying ancient cultures is that we actually know very little about them in the beginning, you know, Devin. For instance, we mostly know about the ancient Egyptian funeral customs, right?
Yep.
And other different religious rituals, because that's what was left behind. That's what we still can see and find. But we don't really know that much about their daily life, or even really what happened to the body of Queen Nativi, for instance.
Nefertiti.
Nativi.
Wow, that's a really good point that you thought of.
Thanks. I forgot the bitch's name.
That was really like intelligent and like a really good point. And yeah, I wonder because if we are just thinking about ancient societies after what we have left, it is mostly just burial stuff and about death. And we don't actually know what their lives were day to day or what the conversations were at the time.
In fact, and throughout history, I mean, very few instances can actually be archaeologically verified as what would their day-to-day life would have been. That's why Pompeii's site was so actually huge to the I want to say agricultural. It's not what the word I'm trying to say is, though.
Agricultural.
No. It's actually the Pompeii incident that was very big to the archaeological. Thanks for not correcting me, because I knew it.
Historic and things like that.
Yeah, it really is, because it literally captured what everybody was doing in their final moments.
Yep. Now,
Atlantis, to a second point, actually, and we'll get into this later, probably in the audio portion of the podcast.
But you gotta go.
Don't
be a muggle.
Well, yeah.
I forgot we said that. Did you listen to that episode where we called everybody muggles?
You are muggles. Dolby need a song. Stop! We could have kept going. So,
something about the audio only portion.
Yeah, about the audio portion. Anyway, audio only. You fucking threw me off my point. Moving on.
You were saying that to the point, I think you were going to allude to the fact that you might have found some evidence of a Pompeii kind of situation for Atlantis.
That's right, because that's supposedly, other than aliens, obviously, that how Pompeii and Atlantis both kind of went poof.
Volcanoes?
Possibly.
Guess you'll have to listen to the full episode.
Act of God. I'll just say that. Act of God. Which one, we don't know. Dorothy, click your heels 3 times, because we're going to fucking Wonderland.
Which is not Kansas anymore.
Right.
Whatever that was.
I think we're back, man. We got this.
Dude, we were back.
No. This is it.
No, last week was really good. The week before, we were starting to get back in our groove. Last week was really good. This is the cushion. You know what it is? I'm not stressed anymore
Oh,
about doing the show.
and I am. So now I'm over doing everything.
Now you're doing the thing. That's what it is. You need to be stressed about this show, and I need to not be stressed about the show.
Great.
No, but I'm really stressed out. I really hope this performs well because we're obviously putting a whole lot of fucking work.
Devin is asking for help online. Please call 1-800.
If you're
lend a brother a hand. He needs somebody to talk to.
There's a sponsor that I've reached out to.
They just haven't reached back.
Oh no.
What?
I just realized my camera is not secure at all. Let's just hope that works.
All right.
Yeah, probably. Back to the episode.
So you would think that if Atlantis was a worldwide catastrophe, then surely Egypt would have also referenced it, right? At least somewhere in the recent years, cutting-edge archaeologists and other speculative writers have actually found interesting inscriptions in the Indifu Temple. The Indifu Temple was actually one of the best preserved shrines in Egypt and preserves important mythology on its walls. It has the most readable text.
I've never been there. Sure, I gotta take your word for it, boss.
From the fragments that remain at Indifu, archaeologists have been... Really?
What? I was just counting down how many times you were going to say archaeologist. It was 4, by the way.
Flamboyantly. Archaeologists have been...
5.
You knew it too. You laughed before I said it.
All right.
Scientists have been able to reconstruct the following tale. The primal evil.
Whoa.
Retake.
If you say Germany.
The following tale. The primeval ones, or 7 souls, came from an island called the homeland of the primeval ones, who were alive at the time of Zeptepi, or the first times. Fast times at Red Mountain High. They came to Egypt when the divine ones were killed suddenly by a flood. God. A few that survived became the builder gods, who fashioned the... Did you really even spell that right?
It's almost certainly copy and pasted.
Is it primeval? Is it prime?
Can I see it?
EVAL.
Can I see it? Where's it at? Towards the top?
Paragraph.
Yeah, it's kind of, I would assume primeval.
Cool. I was close enough. I'll just continue to say it wrong.
Okay, that's fine. I don't know what that is.
Oh, this is getting cut. I'm going to be cutting a lot. Don't worry about it.
But leave some of it in.
The primeval ones, who were alive in the time they called Zeptepi, or the first times. Now, these builder gods who fashioned the primeval ones, or the primeval time, the lords of light, the ghosts, the ancestors, who raised the seed for gods and men. The senior ones who came into being at the beginning, who illuminated this when they came forth. If they were looking for evidence of Atlantis and Egypt, then it seems to me that wouldn't it be there at the creation of gods?
It sounds like a good argument.
And if they were, wouldn't this story of the primeval ones, the ones who were highly advanced and technological, couldn't that story itself be technically Atlanteans? If Egypt or Egyptians were, even speculating about what was going on in the Atlantic Ocean at that time. Or the Atlanteans had their base, and, like in previous statements we made, went to conquer Eastern Europe, Asia, and above.
Did they say that?
Yeah. It said that Egyptian Plato's theology that said that the Atlanteans were predominantly like overlording, or they had their hands in almost every country. They were basically not taking over, but they were, the most advanced civilization on Earth. When it stands to reason that they would be aliens? Question mark. My personal view.
I like that theory. I also like the theory of possibly like ancient humans that were like probably hundreds of years ahead, which would be a damn shame if it was. That's a lot of technology lost.
But was it?
Oh, I don't know.
Government cover-up. Legend says...
Oh, of Atlantis.
Listen.
Them
Romans, just as bad as the government.
You're not lying, man. Julius Caesar?
Hid everything from the people.
Augustus?
How can you trust a man named Augustus?
That's way too close to August.
F2 Brute.
Also, was the reason we have a month called August. Did you know that?
Motherfucker, et tu Brute.
I don't speak Latin.
That's the line that was spoken after he was stabbed by Brutus.
Oh, Julius Caesar?
Et tu Brute.
Oh.
Yeah.
You hit it hard with the accent. I had a hard time understanding exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, I learned it off the back of a bottle of Hidden Valley.
Great.
If you look at the old Hidden Valley Caesar salad dressing, you'll see that it exists there. I have to wait till halftime.
Halftime? It's the fucking Super Bowl. Dude, remember last Super Bowl?
No.
Yeah, I mean, that was a good time.
I know, I want some crypto. So here's the legend. The legend states that Atlantis was a city built by Poseidon, the god of the sea. The storms and earthquakes when he fell in love with a mortal woman, of course, is what took it down. Now, he made this city on top of a hill on an isolated island in the sea to protect her and named it Atlantis. According to the story, Poseidon walked through the world in an effort to find the biggest island until he reached the biggest of them all, Atlantis, and found it to be inhabited by people who were more beautiful and intelligent than the rest of the world.
Hot.
Obviously, me and Devin come from there.
Well, thanks, John.
It was then that he fell in love with, I'm trying to say this correctly, Colito.
I believe that's right. That's as close as we, as non-ancient Greeks, can get it.
Yep. It's not on the back of a bottle of Hidden Valley, that's for sure.
That's... I don't know if you know this, John, but that's exactly where I got most of this copy for this episode.
On the back of a Hidden Valley bottle?
I just read it. I just typed it in, bro.
Dude, it's like, what's that? It's like National Treasure. You're just finding shit.
Yeah. The National Treasure is a Hidden Valley Ranch.
Yeah. The answer to the National Treasure is on the back of Hidden Valley Ranch.
Oh, God.
And the Constitution.
Benjamin Franklin was like, yo, this shit's good.
Yeah, that's why he had them crazy glasses.
Because of the ranch.
That's why they call it Hidden Valley. It's hidden in the valley.
I understand what you're after. I got it.
Okay.
I got it.
So the new home built by Poseidon for his love in the city of Atlantis was surrounded by rings of water and land. The 5 rings of water were connected to the land with helpful 5 tunnels, and were huge canal connected the outer rings of water to the ocean. Now, to put this very graphically in your mind, think of a bullseye. That's basically what it looked like, with underground tunnels connecting each section. Now, the tunnels were able to accommodate ships, actually, and every route to the city was guarded by gates and towers. Moreover, that the walls surrounded the wall that surrounded the rings was built using red, white, and black rock and was decorated with precious metals.
For a wall.
For the wall surrounding the entire city.
That's how fucking rich these people were.
Or they were really good at collecting resources.
They were well, yeah, that's one and the same, sir.
In other words, they were the Minecraft tryhards.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, imagine decorating, like, oh, let's build a fucking wall around our huge continent. Hello?
I know what we should do.
I'm not building Atlantis.
We should build Atlantis in Minecraft.
All right, you can build Atlantis in Minecraft.
No, we need to do it together.
Also, watch Minecraft Mondays.
Watch Minecraft Mondays. Link somewhere in the video.
We have a whole new series.
Link up there. So, what do you think about this so far? Oh, and let me actually just go ahead. Other than being surrounded by precious metals and crazy colored rocks, meanwhile, there was another hill called the Hill of Colito, and where it is believed that Poseidon captivated his wife because he was distrustful of her loyalty. In other words, held her captive. This hill was surrounded by huge moats and pillars as well. Now, what do you think?
I mean, so if you look at I tend to want to believe in the whole Atlantis thing, but I'm not entirely sure, to be honest with you. Like, I put aliens and then like Bigfoot, and then after our recent episode of Yeti, I put Yeti right below Bigfoot as far as like the hierarchy and shit I believe in. Atlantis is up there. So as far as believing in it, I don't know about that, but the Greek mythology behind Atlantis is very interesting. So that's what I'll say about it so far. I know we have a lot more to cover.
Oh, we're only through phase 1.
We're barely scratching the surface. We are dipping our toes, some may say.
Yeah.
Should we stoke the flames?
Glad you're jumping in board with this because they know they end after this episode.
That's fine.
Okay. Another argument used against Atlantis is the actual dates of its supposed existence. Now, Plato tells us that Solon said that the flood occurred 9,000 years before their current time. In our current time, that puts the sinking of Atlantis at 9600 BC, which is roughly 11,600 years ago. For many people, it is impossible to conceive that an advanced civilization could have existed at this time, including anatomical humans existing at this time that were our Paleolithic ancestors, that although we have an image in our ancestors as cavemen around that time, or an image in our minds, I should say scientifically, the science shows us that actually these people were quite advanced. We have evidence of a Mesozoic boat building yard and ancient water houses built around 3600 BC. Our ancestors were anything but uncivilized. We just got better at it and lazier at it. We don't have any written records that survive from that time, but we do have the geology. Now, supposedly, Atlantis has already been found. Just saying. Whoa. Supposedly. There's stepping stones at the bottom of the sea. They say that there's stuff near the Dead Sea that could have tied it to Greece, which would have given Plato his inspiration for it, whether it was Atlantis or not. But he could, the story of the theologist like him would definitely come up with a long-winded way to say that there was a cool-ass city out there. Just saying, it's a plausible explanation. It really is. But here is where we get to the bedrock of the situation. Preserved in the Earth's bedrock, we have evidence of a cataclysmic event that happened roughly 11,500 years ago. This almost sounded like I read this before. The Younger Dryas, the records show that the ice sheets that covered North America and Europe during the last ice age collapse and crumble. This caused the ice sheet to rapidly melt and add fresh water to the ocean, causing flooding. This would have no doubt been enough to destroy an entire civilization. Scientists don't quite yet know what caused this, but there is a theory. The Younger Dryas impact hypothesis is a theory that suggests a comet hit Earth and fragmented across the northern part of the globe. The impact of the comet is dated roughly 12,800 years ago. We know something hit the Earth during that time because in the Earth's crust, an impact is recorded. There are peak concentrations of plutonium, high temperature sulfurites, and met glass, and nanodiamonds. Minecraft. These only occur when something like a comet hits Earth. A comet hitting the Earth really would be enough to destroy an entire continent or reduce it to mud, as Plato describes. It would also explain why the magnifusia die-off at the end of the Younger Dryas, since a comet killed the dinosaurs. It is not a stretch to say that a comet would have killed these large creatures and the Atlanteans too. One of the main reasons why the mysteries of Atlantis are not unpacked and decided by modern archaeologists and historians is because they sneer at the possibility of Atlanteans ever existing in the first place. To truly know whether or not Atlantis is real, we have to make a detailed inquiry into that itself. We have to examine what Plato puts forward and see what we can actually bring back and back it up with archaeology.
I do have one thought, but I think it's a good point. You remember Homo sapiens, there was also whatever the technical term was for Neanderthals.
Yeah, Homo sapiens. Yeah, they made the safes too, right? Just kidding.
Sure. Homo sapiens and then Homo whatever Neanderthals was that it? There was I realized what you just said.
Go on.
It's not out of the realm of possibility that there could have been another version of humans similar to Neanderthals and humans. There could have been something that was Atlanteans that would have maybe had bigger brains and maybe would have, broken into science a lot quicker. And there's no reason to say that that couldn't have been on a different continent in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. Now, if you look at the time period, as it says with the ice shelf kind of retreating from North America and Europe, during that time, actually, the island of Britain was actually not an island at all. It was actually connected to Europe. So think about how deep that ocean is there.
Yeah, and they decided to secede, right? And that's why they broke off.
So if that ocean, if it's that deep and that much water kind of cascaded over that area, making Britain, which used to be all mountains for that region, an island in and of itself, that amount of water could have easily covered up, a lowland, large island that could have been the size of Atlantis.
Well, even then, at this time, we're talking about the ice sheets melting off of the northern continents. That's a lot of fucking ice.
It's a lot of water.
It is. Now,
Yeah.
I know Iceland seems big, but it's really not. America's huge. The northern ice sheets of America from the Ice Age melting off would have put so much water, it would have raised the oceans by another 20 feet.
I don't know the numbers, but yes, that's essentially what I'm saying, is that as long as it wasn't a mountainous island that the Atlanteans were living on, and if it was relatively a flat island and or continent, yeah, it could have easily been covered. However, the problem with that is the comet theory kind of provides an answer to this. But if it was, we would still see that in the Atlantic Ocean. We would still see this giant plateau, and I don't know. I didn't do the research, so I don't know if that exists at the the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean somewhere. I don't know.
It could. And
it absolutely could.
I mean, even still, like, what if America wasn't the shape it was? What if that comet just knocked off the rest of Florida? We don't know. Florida's got bad luck. It already gets hit a lot. I'm thinking it's kind of a target for the cosmos. What if the Gulf of Mexico, that hole, that's where the comet hit?
The Atlantic Ocean's a very vast ocean, and I think it's more likely that it would have been a part of Africa.
Think of the ripple. Think of the ripple.
Yeah. Could have been Africa and or off of Europe rather than America. But I mean, yeah.
Well, okay, keep in mind, I think the way the dating goes, and I am really bad with this, supposedly Plato's story of this. This is everything that he's talking about happened like 5,000 or 6,000 9,000 years before him.
Yeah. And that's why I put it in there for easy math to understand, is that for us, that's like 12,000 years ago. So
I just shit a brick. So apparently Atlantis started to wage an unprovoked imperialistic war on the remainder of Asia and Europe. When Atlanteans attacked, the Athenians showed its excellence as a leader of the Greeks and much smaller city-state, the only power to stand against the Atlanteans. Now, alone, Athenians triumphed over the invading Atlantean forces, defeating the enemy, preventing the free from being enslaved, and freeing those who had been enslaved. After the battle, there were violent earthquakes and floods. The Atlanteans sank into the sea, and the Athenian warriors were swallowed. The Athenian warriors were swallowed up by the earth. Some stories say these earthquakes came from Zeus. The Atlanteans became a spiritually ugly race, and for that reason, Zeus and the gods destroyed them by letting the island be swallowed up by the sea. So Zeus probably just had a talk with Poseidon. It was like, no, we got to cut this out.
Well, Poseidon was one of Zeus's sons, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it probably wasn't a talk. It was probably more like daddy telling son what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, you had your toy, you had your games.
Yeah.
Now you got to turn it off. It's time to go to bed.
The game being millions of people. Fuck.
Turn off the Earth box, son.
That's awesome. We're getting there, dude. That's fucked up. We're like 100 years away.
Yeah. So, how do you feel about everything so far?
Yeah. So again, I stand where I stand. I really, really love that Greek mythology piece of it, and I love the idea of, Atlantis going to war with Athenians and stuff, and that being the reason that the gods, because Athenians were correct.
Yeah, Wonder Woman.
Yeah, and so they sank the entire continent. Sure.
Yep.
Genocide, no problem.
Obviously, Athenians were much more favored by the gods.
Yep, I guess so. That's why they're still around today.
So is this a story then? Because again, coming from Plato and the Athenians winning the battle, other than the ones that were trapped there, is this just really another religious archetype story?
I think it's worse, actually. I think there's a lot of evidence that points. I mean, supposedly Atlantis also had this political system that just so happened to run exactly the way Plato envisioned a perfect universe. So in my opinion,
utopian design, yeah.
So the way that Atlantis supposedly ran politically was exactly how Plato would like to have had Greece run. So in my opinion, it was just a story of him trying to tell everybody, look at all the awesome stuff that Atlantis did. All we have to do is just do things the way I say. So I don't know. Maybe just a story to make his way of life sound good.
Interesting.
A lot of evidence points that way.
Well, if you want to hear what's going to happen next as we dive deep into the conspiracy theories of Atlantis, you're going to have to go listen to me at Wolf Takes a Bite Pod on all podcast platforms.
Get your scuba gear, get your submarines, because we're going deep.
Yellow submarine.
Yellow submarine. Ringo Starr.
Yeah.
All right, drink your water.
Yeah. And hey, if you enjoyed that, you can listen to the rest of this episode wherever you can listen to podcasts. Make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell icon. And to never miss another episode of Wolf Takes a Bite here on YouTube on my exclusive channel. For all things Wolf Take a Bite, visit us at GreatManMediaCo.com and you check out all the great merch. Let me know what you get and send us pictures.
Yes, definitely do that.
Indeed. We got a lot of great stuff and new stuff coming to the store soon.
Tell us what you want.
Meanwhile, see you later.
Do a water effect, Sean, when you did that.
Fuck you. Fuck you.
All right, I'm going to end it.
Hey, if you enjoyed that, you can listen to the rest of this episode wherever you listen to podcasts. And make sure you subscribe and hit the icon bell and never miss another episode. For all things Wolf Takes a Bite, please visit us at GraymanMediaCo.com.